terrorists over there. Everyone said they were terrorists. It was weird to me because we didn't know that they were terrorists. We just knew that they were Middle Eastern. But immediately we went to terrorists. Because if you're Middle Eastern, that's a terrorist. That's the world we live in now. Yeah. If you're Middle Eastern, terrorism is your trademark. It's so crazy how easy it is to get people to hate a group of people. Because that's what happened. Charlie Hebdo, and then everyone started saying things about Muslims. These damn Muslims. We gotta stop Islam. That's what we gotta do. We gotta stop these Islamists. These Muslims. Now, I'm not saying all Muslims are terrorists, but all terrorists are Muslims. Yeah, it sounds really smart, doesn't it? It sounds really smart. Yeah, but it's not. It's stupid and it's hate speech. That's what it is. It really is. Terrorism is not a race, it's an act. It evolved over time. Yes, right now we're dealing with extremism, Islamic terror in some parts of the world. But if you go to other parts of the world and ask them what a terrorist is, they'll show you a different face. You go to England 20 years ago and you said, who was a terrorist? They show you a drunk Irishman. Right? I didn't need to say drunk, I could have just said Irishman. There was a time when Nelson Mandela was labeled a terrorist. Like, terrorism is an act, it's not a face. People say these things. Well, these Muslims, you gotta admit, there's an awful lot of them doing the same thing. You're like, yeah, but you know who's not a terrorist? Most Muslims. Yeah. Most Muslims are not terrorists. I'm not even Muslim, but it gets to me because I'm like, most Muslim people are not terrorists. You know how you know this? Because we're still alive. Yeah. They've had ample opportunity to take us out, people. There's 1 billion Muslim people on the planet. They've had every chance. They could have killed us using those falafels they sell us after midnight when we come out of the club. They could have wiped us all out. But they're killer kebabs. They've had the means. It's so weird to see our prejudices, you know, the way people are labeled in the media, you know, in society. And it's not just Muslim people, you see it with black people as well. You know, people saying these things like, you know, I remember when the riots were happening in Baltimore, people quickly jumped, these thugs, these are a bunch of thugs running around, these thugs. You know, I'm starting to think black people like crime. That's what I'm starting to think. Is that the only way they can deal with it? Black people like crime. No. Black people don't like crime. Because you know who's not a criminal? Most black people. Yeah, most black people are not criminals. Black people hate crime just like everybody else. It's not like black people are cheering crime on. It's not like they're watching a black guy do some like, yeah, Darnell, you steal that man, you steal that yeah, no. When black people see a black person doing a crime, they also looking at the person like, that nigga crazy. You've got to fight the act, not the face. Not a face that you put to it's not the same thing. And everybody has it, you know. If you're a Middle Eastern and you do something, if you're a black person gets shot in a bad neighborhood, the first story they always lead with the same thing. And today in Compton, a man was shot in what is suspected to be gang-related violence. It's always gang-related violence. They never say it's anything else. Never just two guys, gang-related, probably gang-related. Why do you say that? Well, because, you know, in this area there's hip-hop. Why is it gang-related? It's always it doesn't matter who it is. Could be two kids. Someone got shot. A 3-year-old was shot today by a 4-year-old in what is suspected to be gang-related violence. But they're kids. Yeah, they recruit very young. Wasn't a mistake? No, it's not a mistake. It's never a mistake. But if it's in a rich neighborhood, the story changes. Because you'll never hear them reporting the same thing about the Hamptons. And today in the Hamptons, a man was shot in what is suspected to be gang-related violence. The Burberry gang has been known to operate around these parts. And recently, they never say those things. In fact, you're more likely to see the police commissioner going, we've just conducted an investigation. We found out that a firearm was discharged earlier today, and a bullet left the weapon penetrating a victim, and we're going to investigate whether it was misfired or I'm sorry, did you say did someone shoot the gun? Well, we're not ruling anything out right now, but we're checking to see if there was a mechanism failure or what about the person? Well, we don't think that this was intentional. We don't. So wait, we live in a world where you'll investigate a gun before you investigate a rich white man? Is that what you're saying? No, that's not what we're saying. But I mean, you must remember the gun is black. But that's not the point. The point is, so weird how our prejudices have given everyone their lane. Middle Eastern does something, they're a terrorist. Black person does something, they're gang-related, they're a thug. But if a white guy walks into a church killing 9 people dead, what do they lead with on the news? And today, in an isolated incident, a lone gunman walked into a church, opening fire and killing